For many, 911 is a service often taken for granted. If an emergency occurs, there will always be a calm voice at the end of the line to ease your fears and send help quickly. However, this is not always a reality for members of diverse communities, who can be hesitant about the consequences of calling 911 or confused about when and how to use this service.
So something needs to be done. It is a real concern among our community.
SANCHEZ-BIRKHEAD serves on the board of Community Faces of Utah. The goal of this organization is to create partnerships which will allow for communication and improved health care in diverse communities.
In general, diverse communities do not access the system as much as, say, more affluent white communities do. And even if they do, perhaps the service that they receive is not standard or the same.
The study uncovered multiple fears, concerns, and confusion that different diverse communities hold about calling emergency dispatch. MATIU, a member of the National Tongan American Society, said he has a lot of respect for emergency dispatchers who answer 911 calls.
There's a lot of respect for people that do that because they are actually really critical thinkers and they know how to think on their feet and be able to keep the situation calm.
While Fa said he would feel completely comfortable calling 911 for a health-related emergency, he would be more hesitant to call 911 to report a crime.
I think there's just a lot of distrust with the police, just in general, just because there's a lot of negativity promoted amongst communities about cops just through incidents. And so the general point of view of everyone there is they're not on your side, if that makes sense. Or it's going to be more of a hassle to even get them involved.
He offered a possible solution to this problem.
Having, the police actually interact with the community, knowing that they're invested in the people in the right way, because I think a lot of the misconception with calling the police is that you don't know who's going to show up.
Another problem is language or cultural barriers. SANCHEZ-BIRKHEAD said she discovered a lack of awareness in her community about the service 911 offers. She also said the political climate has created fear in the Hispanic community.
As we know what's going on in the country with whether Hispanics are documented or not documented, they're treated often as if they were not documented, as if they're not documented. And so there's some hesitancy and lack of trust in police and healthcare providers, as 911 as well. So people who are in a position of authority, I guess, are feared by the community.
Another concern, she said, is that when someone calls 911, the dispatcher is not going to understand what they're saying and is going to be impatient. Valentine MUKUNDENTE is a board member of Community Faces of Utah and community leader for Best of Africa. She said her community includes refugees who also experience distrust of the police and language as barriers to calling 911.
Because most of refugees, they come from countries where they experienced war, people being killed, family members, and they didn't have a good relationship with the police. So when they call 911, in their mind, they feel like they are calling to the police. And these are refugees, and some of them, English is their third or their fourth language, so they are not really fluent in English. So that's number one challenge.
Jennifer Hurst, outreach coordinator for International Academies of Emergency Dispatch, conducted the focus groups with Wheeler.
Many of these communities are just really afraid of the police because most of them have at least one person in their circle who has had a really bad experience with the police.
Some solutions that these organizations came up with include hiring more emergency dispatchers who speak many languages and come from many communities and backgrounds, says Wheeler. She also suggested additional training and support for call takers to always be respectful and believing of those who are calling.
One thing I liked about the focus group we had with 911 dispatchers, they didn't just listen. After finding out what is not working, right now they are working on their protocols to see how they can make their protocols better.
Hurst said she has a great deal of respect for the work that first responders do and that their job is not easy. She said conducting the focus groups helped her to examine herself for implicit biases and recommended that others do the same to ensure that the community is safe for everyone.
We all have them. It doesn't make us necessarily a bad person, but it's what do we do with that? We need to seek them out, figure out, hey, am I maybe treating someone differently? And if you are, work on that.
Kaylee DeWitt, ABC4.com.